Hi there and welcome to Tech DRes. I'm going to be replacing the joystick on a PS Vita. I found out that basically some of my games weren't playing correctly, and the other day it completely broke on one game and my character was spinning around. So I downloaded this utility from PS Vita Homebrew and found out that indeed the analog joypad on the right hand side wasn't registering left and up strokes. So needless to say, I went online and found out this was a common thing and ordered a replacement joystick for the right hand side. It's a fairly easy thing for you to do, this, replacing the joypad, but it requires taking apart the Vita. There are approximately 7 screws. There are 4 on the back, 2 on the bottom and 1 just inside the memory cart. Which you'll have to do before you can take it apart. It's quite tricky, but I'd say from the power light area, as you can see, it's kind of switched on accidentally, but this is kind of where you just ease it nicely back. Now the back touch sensitive area, the ribbon that comes off quite easily, so it's not impossible to put it back in, but it is a little bit tricky, so be careful of that. I think it's best to just disconnect it and deal with it when you put it back on. And on the right hand side, this PCB board is held down by 2 screws, and it's also got 2 ribbons going into it. I would warn you, these little orange bits that are on the end of the ribbons that you can just see in the shop now, I would totally leave those alone. Once they come off, they just do not want to go back, so I'd stay away from them. I think you can really just tease them out like this with no damage. Obviously be careful not to shunt it either way. Try and get an equal grip on it and pull it backwards, and you'll be absolutely fine. Once it does come out, you'll be able to lift off that PCB board, taking away those ribbons. Sorry, there's 3 ribbons there actually, so make sure they're all disconnected, and there's 2 little springs either side of the PCB board, which you just kind of pull either side and it should just pop out fairly easily, or I'm making a right pig's ear of it myself. So there it goes, the board comes off, and the actual module is one of those ribbons. Take care to put these screws somewhere safe. I hold them in like a little ramekin bowl so they don't go anywhere. So there you go, that's the offending unit. I think you can buy for about £5 a replacement off eBay. I'll try and show you the link that I used. The thumb, it looks genuine. It's totally sort of identical to the unit I took off. As you'll see here, I'm bringing out the bag. There you go, no difference. The grip's the same, shape's the same. It's sold to me as an OEM, so you're getting a like-for-like replacement. Now the ribbon is quite straight at this point, so it's not got quite the curl on the other one had, so you'll have to bear that in mind when you try and put the ribbon back into the PCB. The joys of magnetic screwdrivers. So the PCB goes back into place quite nicely, and those ribbons go back in. And once those ribbons going in, it should come together quite nicely. And it's just a case of putting it back together. Now what we're going to do is go back into the system once this is back together, switch it back on. So back on we go, we boot back up and try and see if the joypad is now working as it should. So we're going back into that utility. Now I popped out my memory card and it got it into a little bit of a tiz. Back to utility. Joypad is now registering in the X and Y coordinates perfectly fine. And just making sure, this is a good tip, make sure that all the other elements are working correctly, especially that rear touchpad. I think first time I took it apart and put it back together just to see what was going on, that wasn't plugged in correctly. Now the game that wasn't working for me was Persona 4, and the right stick is used to kind of rotate the character left and right, and I knew something was wrong with my game when it just kept spinning round. So now it's all fixed. Hope you enjoy this, and please subscribe if you want to keep in touch with any more videos that I do. Thank you.